Red Wunz Go Fasta, old Big Mick here. That's right. It is time for our final live stream where I still have a broken wrist because tomorrow this gets taken apart. All right. You guys know the drill. I got to now go and do all the sherry blueberries here and get everybody a chance to get on here and get lined up. And we'll get into the stream. I feel like the new camera worked well last week. Definitely very happy with that. All right. That should be what we need. Hey, Dirt Hermit, what is up? Yes, Gundam Mister, early stream. I've been hearing you guys saying you needed an earlier stream, so I did what I could do, and here we are. Not too shabby, if I don't say so myself. Not shabby at all. Burton Denali, hello, hello, hello. We'll give everyone a minute to get on here and stuff. But yeah, as people are coming on, what you all working on tonight? Because it is supposed to be Hobby Hangout live stream, and I've got some hobby hanging. In fact, I've been working on something all week. There we go. Hey, Silver Scratch Built Product 6277. Hello, Blissful Badger. Ooh, Der Herman working on the RPG stuff. Man, that your new the racetrack thing looks so stinking cool. I'm gonna have some time off here this week, so maybe I'll actually be able to join in. I am definitely looking forward to that. Real CJ, it's Wade. Ooh, Blissful Badger working on some bolt action. Bolt action looks like a ton of fun, honestly. And you know, it might scratch that Imperial Guard itch since I'm giving up on Imperial Guard. I don't know. We'll see. Talking time, painting Outriders. Ooh, nice. I like the Outriders. Stuff even, LOL. Gundam Mister working on some converted Stormboys. Very nice. Oh, CJ. The XV-26, those are the new stealth suits, right? The ones that came in the Kill Team box. Those look so stinking cool. Yeah, Crimson, I am live because tomorrow, in fact, I should be very done by this time, hopefully, but tomorrow, this is all done. I'll be able to do this, but with this hand. Yeah, so it is the third and final surgery. So for those of you that don't know, or if you're like, watching this replay later on, way back in October 2025, I was out running with one of the grots and tripped and fell and landed on my hand like this and completely destroyed my wrist. It broke the radius, which is the bigger bone, into two, and then chipped off what's called the critical corner, which is the corner of the bone that like kind of holds your hand in place. Otherwise, the whole thing sinks down this way. So went to the ER, hours and hours and hours in the ER. They put you in this like dark Eldar torture device where there's like a Chinese finger trap on every finger held up like this, and then a weight on your elbow for hours to try to like move everything back out to be set. And then they put you in like the giant caster. Your arm is stuck like this, and you look like half of the Great Cornholio. So we went through all that. Had surgery the following week, where they put a big old metal plate in here, tried to put everything together. Had that for about a month. Went in for the post-op, and no dice. It had moved. The little critical corner had fallen out. And when we say fallen out, we're talking like less than a millimeter, but in bone terms, like it is not good. Especially, I know I say I'm old all the time, but I'm not that old when you talk about surgical things. So my surgeon was saying, if I was in my 80s or 90s or something like that, the possibility of it being off by that much, making that big of a difference, versus like the risk of the surgery. But being as young as I am, it was just, there was no choice. It was go and redo it. So I had to have a second surgery. They pulled the original metal plate out. They put a ginormous metal plate in that has a claw on it, and the claw is like what holds the little chip in. and then they put a titanium rod from here to here to completely immobilize my wrist. So yeah, well, I suppose I could show it to you because it's coming out. In fact, I get to keep it, which is extra cool. So maybe the next week's live stream, I'll have some metal whippy stick to show everybody. But yeah, that is, and like that is literally all I can move. I cannot move this at all. You can see the big old hump right there. That is a titanium rod going all the way up to my knuckle, and it goes all the way down to there. And then yeah, and then there's a big old triangular shaped plate in here. So yeah, all that is coming out. I got less than 24 hours left of this cranky thing, and then I get to be done, hopefully forever. So yeah, fingers crossed. All that jazz. One thing I have been thinking about. So I've got try to get this on the camera where you can actually see what's going on. There's a hard angle to do when you can't turn your wrist. There we go. You see the scar there? That is literally a scar from the surgeries, and it's going to be even gnarlier because they're going to cut into it a third time. Um, it's kind of a gnarly scar and kind of a gnarly spot, and it honestly almost kind of makes me queasy sometimes. So I've been thinking about getting a tattoo. I actually, surprisingly, having been in the military and on the seagoing service and sailed multiples of the seven seas and through the Panama Canal and stuff, I never actually got any ink. It basically came down to I didn't trust anybody else's artwork enough to have it on me permanently. But I kind of feel like I need to do something with this. And then I also have there's one here. Uh, kind of Boy, this light is really terrible. I'm gonna upgrade some lights in here, man. This dank dungeon. But yeah, I got another scar here and then another scar here that they're also gonna open back up for the dorsal rod. Um, so yeah, I've been thinking about some tattoos, some ink on this sleeve. If you got any ideas, throw them in the chat. Hit me up in the Discord. All right, let's get caught up here. Yeah, CJ is working on that new kill team. The XV26s, those are so cool. I love Tau, especially battles. If it's big stompy robots, how can you not love big stompy robots? I've collected a Tau army, as I've said on the channel multiple times. The last time I had this army that was painted like dark blue and red, almost kind of like Crimson Fist scheme. It turned out really wicked looking. I would love to do Tau again, except it feels like most of their battle suits are a little too not updated enough. Like the Ghost Keel is awesome. The new XV26s are awesome. I like the new Farsight and the new Shadow Sun, but like the actual Crisis suits are a little underwhelming, if I'm honest. And then same thing with like the what's the really long range, like the giant railgun, the broadside. Yeah, the broadside is feeling dated, and then I haven't actually seen what's the one bigger than a Ghost Keel. Riptide. I haven't seen a Riptide in person. That one might be cool, but yeah, just you need a zillion crisis suits, and the crisis suits are not looking that great as far as Warhammer minis go. And then their infantry dudes haven't been updated in forever. So yeah, but when Tau actually gets some more redos going on their big stompy robots, it might be coming. Might be coming. Uh, Hey, Calvin, I am doing all right. I just gave everybody the rundown on what is going on with the old cyborg part here. Got to get that titanium rod taken out. It's kind of funny. I was telling my orthopedist when I had the meeting on Friday because they do all the imaging and all that stuff. They're like, well, how's the pain been? And I'm like, honestly, it was really good for a while, and if within like the last week or two, it's gotten more like it hurts a lot, and I couldn't figure out why. And he goes, yeah, it's because you're fully healed, and what's happening is your brain is trying to tell your muscles to like move and do stuff, and like they can't because there's the metal rod in there, and so that's what's causing the pain. So I'm hoping that once these things are out, it's actually not going to be that painful at all. We'll see, hopefully. But anyways, let's see. Silver Scratch Built product is working on 1,000 points of Tyranid. It's very cool. Hey, Tug Bobo. Hey, hey. So real CJ says the young Big Mech now, then it depends on your point of view. I mean, to the Grots, I am from, as they always remind me, the late 1900s, which sounds positively ancient, but also like I tell them things like, "Yeah, telephones used to be plugged into the wall, and you have to unplug the phone and plug in your computer, and then it would, like, make all these noises before you got on the internet, and when you got like, looked at a picture, like, one line at a time would appear," and they're like, "Nah, you're pulling our leg, you're full of it, like, that's not real." And then, actually this morning, I was going through, a box of photos trying to find something for one of the grots, and, she's like, "Why do you have so many photos?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? So this is like every photo of my entire life, and it all fits in like one shoebox." And she's like, "Why do you just take it on a phone?" And I was like, "Because the smartphone wasn't invented yet. They didn't have cameras and phones for the vast majority of this." It was kind of like, nah, like, so yeah, like there's times where I feel really old, but yeah, I mean, with the grand scheme of things, not that old. I still have my parents around, my grandparents around, like, I got a while yet. Well, it's only 1 foot in the grave, it's not 2. It's the Thar. I still think they should amputate your hand and put a claw on. Dude, there's been some guys, 3D printing an actual orc power claw that is functional. They've been putting it all over Discord. It looks wild. That would be sweet cosplay thing to have. And I mean, the claw would be cool because you could start off with the claw and then do like an old Baelai outfit, and go around being a Commissar Yark, because he's got the one orc claw. But then, yeah, like you could also get the rest of the orc suit together. It'd be cool. Mm. Yes, Crimson Chain, you heard correct. I do get to keep the metal gubbins out of my arm. In fact, the Grots were all fighting over who got to keep it, and I was like, "It's mine. It was in my arm. I'm keeping it." But I have decreed that they are allowed to take it to school for show and tell because I mean, come on, that's a titanium rod that was inside your dad for like 4 months. It's kind of cool. Real CJ, perhaps just not that old Big Mac. It's so old hammer is a thing, right? Like you can type in or like search or there's hashtags for like old hammer and like this whole website's dedicated to it and whatnot. And now there's becoming this thing called mid hammer because we are definitely like in a third age of 40K right now. Like everything Primaris and newer is just a different scale and a different like way to play the game and a kind of different everything. But old hammer is like second edition and Rogue Trader. Like that's old hammer. So like that whole like third through seventh is now middle hammer. So maybe I'm middle Big Mac. Midlife crisis Big Mac. Chief Indian. Wow, no sailor sets. I know. It's really, and I mean, like I said, I got around. I sailed the Caribbean, I sailed the Atlantic, I sailed the Pacific, I sailed through the Panama Canal, I visited 7, 8 foreign countries in my years, up and down the Mississippi River, off the coast of Cape May, New Jersey, all up the West Coast, like literally tip to tip, did everything Baja California all the way up into Canada, Vancouver Island and stuff. So yeah, like kind of sailed a lot all over. But I mean, at the time, first of all, this is like the early 2000s, um, you know, and then just so yeah, it was kind of a rough spot in the world, not as rough as we are right now. Good old USA. But it was kind of a rough spot. And then also just like I said, I didn't know what I wanted in life, and I know that I'm like so picky about art that like I really wasn't sure about anybody else's artwork. But I do always regret like there's certain tattoos when you are a sailor that you can only get when you have actually sailed those things. And I always regret not getting some of that done. In fact, when we did the Panama Canal, you get this thing called the Order of the Ditch, which is cool. I got like this giant certificate that's all like filled out and whatnot. And it's like really cool deal. Um, but like I never got to go across the equator, so I never got to be shellback or anything like that. And so yeah, to me it was kind of like this. Well, like I didn't really do enough, but also like looking back, I actually did a lot. Um, but yeah, always kind of regretted not having at least some work done, but there's always time. And besides, who says I can't buy a boat in my retirement and go do some sailing anyway? Because red boats sail faster. I don't know, something. It's to you need an I love mom tattoo. Yes, an I love mom tattoo, but I'm gonna do it like my goth rocker that I painted where it says mom, but instead of a heart, it's a mushroom. That's the ticket. Frank Youngling, when are you getting your Scarboy tattoo? I don't know. That's the thing. Like, I really feel like I should get one now. Somebody had told me that I should get little grots that are like welding the scar back together or like stapling it or whatnot. Like, it's like each one of them is like one's got duct tape, one's got super glue, one's got a staple gun or a nail gun or something. Could be kind of fun. Um, I sailed with a bunch of guys that had sleeve tattoos back in the day. Here I am being actually old again. When I was in the service, you could not have any visible tattoos in a dress uniform. So, from your like basically where your watch would go to your neck was okay, but you couldn't have anything on your hands. You couldn't have anything on your neck or your head or your face. And realistically, even like forearms, like there were certain ones that you could and couldn't have. And I did see the guy that he had one sleeve. So he didn't have any other tattoos visible, but he had the sleeve, but his sleeve is all of his sailing tattoos. And he had like he was a shellback and this and that. And so he had all the different sailing tattoos on there. And that one was acceptable. And then also my boatswain, he had hold fast on his knuckles. But again, he had been in, at that point he had been grandfathered in because he had gotten those tats like back in the 70s or 80s or something like that. But yeah, I could do Gork and Mork on the knuckles or something like a crazy biker dude. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be kind of fun. We'll see. We'll see. Tug Bobo, let's get stuck in query. Big Mech with Drilla plus breakers and Big Mech with Sag plus Bustas should be fine through June 11th edition. I want to use this combo for your 2K army. Okay, we've got our first actual real deal question that's not about me. I like it. So Tug Bobo asks a Big Mech. So that would be the current regular Big Mech Mini, not the Big Mech with custom force field that no longer exists, not the Big Mech and Mega Armor, not the Big Mech with shock attack gun, the just plain Jane Big Mech, but with the drill and then Breaka Boys. So put those together as a squad and Big Mech with shock attack gun plus tank busters. Wants to know if they'll be fine through June or 11th edition. Okay, first of all, those are all pretty new kits. Take Busters and Breaker Boys are obviously the newest thing in the Orc army. They are definitely not going anywhere or getting changed in any measurable way. I mean, obviously the data sheet might get tweaked a little, but like they're not changing the box, they're not changing the loadouts, like they are set, they're good. Same thing with the Big Mac. He only actually came out, remember, in 2024. He's like 18 months old. He's like the second newest thing in the orc army. He is also not changing or going anywhere. Again, you might get like data sheet tweaks, but the actual model, the actual unit, the actual loadout, that's not going anywhere. The way they work with each other might change, but there's still like a Big Mac can lead tank busters or breaker boys. I don't see that changing. Like the orcs need leaders for those kind of units that they make sense. So I think all of those are great. Even the Big Mech with shock attack gun, it's not the newest thing in the orc build out, but it's not the oldest either. And even if they replace it, as I did in my video going through the shock attack gun, we've had 3 different shock attack gun models already in orcdom. So it's been in the codex literally since Rogue Trader. Like there has always been a Big Mac with shock attack gun. So I don't think the shock attack gun is going anywhere at all. So absolutely, I think you're fine with that as well. So Tugbobo, I think you're perfectly valid doing both of those units. They're both definitely valid all the way until 11th. I would say of all of the current combos and things that work in the Orc army, those are like on the most likely tier to still be relevant and not change in any kind of like super measurable way once 11th comes out anyway. So those are definitely excellent units and things to have in your army, and you're totally safe doing those. Because again, even if they change the model for the Big Mac with shock attack gun, it's not going to get any different. I mean, at the worst, you might get like a little bit bigger of a base size. Um, but I don't foresee that happening because that one it's like he's only I think I got him right here. I think he's already on a 50. No, that's the That's the Big Mac. So yeah, he's not changing. He's not going anywhere. And he's already on the right size base that the bosses are going to be on. This is what your war bosses are going to be on. Mark my words. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I haven't primed. Oh no, he's right there. Okay, yeah. So this is the only thing that might change out of that. This is the current Big Mac with shock attack gun model, and that is, I believe, a 40 millimeter base. It's not that big. Because Big Mac's on a 50. Yeah. So I could see all the Big Macs going to the 50. So just FYI, I can see that changing. You might have to rebase him, which is part of why I haven't painted mine yet, to be honest with you. Oh, okay. Chief Indian, a sick 40K tat would be sick. I know, right? I could get the red squig right here. Actually, our boy BenBam, right? He does some killer artwork. I could totally see about commissioning him to do some art for a sleeve for me. That would be sick. That'd be real sick. I love Mork tattoo. No, I love Gork. Possibly Mork. Let's see. Calvin Ryder says, "Wear the scars with pride." I mean, yeah, like I'm not ashamed of my scars. Obviously, I've got, this one right here that goes from there to there, and I've had that one 14 years now. And then I got one back here, and I got one down here, and I got one back there. Like they're all over the place. Um, but yeah, just gonna have a whole bunch of fresh ones that are kind of like really noticeable in an awkward spot, you know. Anyways, Infinity Scar Boys. That's right. What else we got here? Calvin shows everyone your 11 scar running up your left leg. Nice. Chief Indian, the infantry are the same since launch in 2001. Are you talking about orc infantry? Like the boys? What you talk about, Willis? Chief Indian, get back to us. What you talk about? Orthopedist, more like orcopedist, am I right? Oh, how have we made it this far and not made that joke yet, man? Orcopedist rocks. That's a good one. All right, another actual real thing here. Silver Scratch Built Product 6277 asks, did you see Chapter Master Valric orc rumors for the new 11th edition starter box and rumors of an orc walking gun mech that's not a dread? Yes, I did see that video. To be honest, I'm not that hyped on it. Now I know Valrac has an amazing hit rate, especially right now. I can't even remember the last time the guy has truly been wrong. And one of the things that we're waiting on is Chaos Bikers, but like he's always said that Chaos Bikers are 11th edition. So that doesn't surprise me that we haven't gotten them yet. Like he called the Big Mech box that had the Stompa in it. He called all of the current chaos stuff. He called Emperor's Children. I mean, the dude he's getting info somewhere. I have a hard time believing all of his rumors on the 11th edition starter box, though. I feel like he might be getting fed some misinformation on purpose, because Games Workshop knows there's a leak. They know that the leak specifically talks to him, and they know that sometimes that kills the hype. And 11th edition is going to be the most important thing Games Workshop launches in 2026. It will be their primary driver for income and profit. Whereas, last year was Space Marine 2. This year, like, it's all about 11th edition. They really need 11th edition to work, which means they can't really afford to have leaks like taking the wind out of the sails or like, kind of blowing up the internet. So I really feel like they're feeding him misinformation. I mean, think about it. They're talking about eliminators, but with heavy bolters, which is just like heavy intercessors. Like that's literally exactly what they are. And then an intercessor squad, but a little fancy. And like a new captain and yet another ancient and yet another librarian. Like they don't make any sense at all. Oh, hey, we got a grot. Hey, we're matching. Good job, buddy. You heading off?
Yeah, back to the book. Night, everybody.
Night, buddy. Yeah, so I feel like they're kind of feeding him some rumors. The other thing is what he's predicting on the orc side almost doesn't sound exciting. 20 boys, but monopose. We don't need any more monopose boys. Like that just sounds so dumb to me. Some grots, which is great. It's fine if they're monopose. Um, he said a war boss, which again, we don't want a monopose one. We've had nothing but monopose war bosses forever. We've never had a multi-part war boss. So like what the heck? Some sort of big boss or knob boss, a knob with Wawbanner, which is nice that he's coming back, but it's a knob with Wawbanner, and then a weird boy. And then the war track. Now that is exciting. Like a war track coming back would be cool. But again, I have a hard time kind of believing that, to be honest with you. Because if you think about it, we have 5 buggies, right? You got Record Truck Squig Buggy, Custom Booster Blasta, Shock Jump Dragsta, uh, Boomdeck Snazwagon, and Megatrack Scrapjet. So you got 5 buggies, plus you've got the Def Kill War Trike, so that's 6, right? And then we've got, the actual truck itself. Like, we don't need another light to medium vehicle, right? Like if we're gonna get a vehicle, either give us all new bikes or like a war boss on bike, or give us a tank. We don't need anything in the middle. So like I don't know. I feel like that is a throwing people off the scent. And then he talks about this walker. This is the one new thing that everybody's kind of talking about. It's a walker that is also a gun. And he said that like it's like a dreadnought, but with a turret. And then he said that it's like a howitzer, an artillery piece, but it has legs. But they might be like spider legs or forelegs, or I don't know. So I mean, it sounds cool. We definitely need some big guns. All we really have are met guns. They're not that big in the scheme of things, especially when you look at like Imperial Guard, Space Marine, Chaos. But like the self-propelled part, I don't know what's up with that. We don't have anything that's like that. That's more of like a chaosy thing, or maybe Imperial Guard, although they're usually tracked. So no, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just so I'm of two minds. Either Games Workshop knows there's a leak, they don't want the real thing leaked, and so they're feeding him junk on purpose to like make sure that the reveal actually blows people's minds, or it's all true, but it's not monopose. And here's why I think that. Valric has said that like every starter set has been monopose. That is wrong. And those of you that have been around since third edition know the third edition starter set was all multi-pose kits. They were the real meal deal. The tactical squad that you got in the third edition box set was the same tactical squad that you got in the tac squad box. Same thing with the Dark Elder Warriors, same thing with the Land Speeder. Even the terrain was multi-part terrain. It was not like easy build stuff. Everything in that box was full meal deal. So it's not unprecedented. Also, Games Workshop has been trying to go away from push fit for a while. They changed a lot of like how they used to do like Underworlds and Warcry and Kill Team and things like that. There is like almost no push fit left in any of that stuff. Kill Team now is famously like the most complicated kits, right? You get that like extra sprue in there with all the like little gubbins and things, but also they've really gotten good at doing their computer sculpted stuff now. Because again, back in the day, everything was sculpted by hand and then molded, and then they started sculpting on a computer. And those first few kits, those first few years, they were a little rough. on getting that dialed in, but I feel like they really have it dialed in now. And one of the things they've got dialed in is kits that are multi-part without being like so crazily over customizable that like it gets expensive. Look at like the Beast Snagga Boys and even like the new Breaker Boys, that Take Busta slash Breaker Boy kit. Those guys are multi-pose. They are not monopose. The arms are keyed. They go into the body. The heads are keyed. You could swap them all back and forth with each other. But because it's computerized and they can just cut and paste those joins, right? Like they can keep modularizing kits with like no effort, right? So there's a chance that, especially really thinking about what's in this box, why would they come out with a third intercessor kit and have it be monopose or push fit? Like that doesn't make any sense. They already had monopose push fit intercessors at the start of the eighth, and then you had monopose push fit intercessors in the ninth edition start box that had the close combat weapons, right? So you had ones with bolters, you had ones with close combat weapons, and you have the full meal deal glue version of each of those. So you have four different intercessor kits already, to the point where the 10th edition starter box didn't even come with intercessors. It came with those the guys with the flamers, the Infernus Marines, right? So there weren't even any intercessors. So if they were going to go back and give you intercessors, why? Like they could just use the same molds from the original push fit ones. And especially when it says, oh, they're going to be fancier. The push fit ones are less fancy than the glue ones. So, I mean, that makes no sense. But if it was a full glue kit, if it was the real deal glue kit that's replacing the intercessors, right? Like they're going to get rid of the monopose push fit ones from a million years ago. They're going to get rid of the original intercessor kit, and they're just going to have brand new intercessors, and it's got more options. And maybe has there's been some rumor of is it going to be a little tactical squad style where there's like one special weapon and one heavy weapon, right? Imagine if that was an all glue kit in the starter box, right? That like now it starts to make sense. And I say, oh, there's 20 boys, but if they're all multi-pose glue, right, where you could do 10 and 10 with shooters and with sluggas or you know what I mean? Yeah, shooters and the sluggas and choppas. Do I have paper? What kind of paper? Say hi to the live stream. There's more rocks. I like the red. Yeah. So, but if you really think about it, right? Like if they did all glue kits, now suddenly it makes it a lot more exciting. Like if that War Boss is the new War Boss kit that has all the options, right? Like now it's like this goes from a starter box to a must buy and maybe even must buy multiples of a starter box, which would be wild. And I feel like it's like that on both sides of the box, like both the beakies and the orcs. So those are kind of the two things I'm thinking about. You're stealing my squig. She stole my squig. So those are like the two ways I could see the box going. Either it's all made up and they're pulling one over on Valrak to keep the excitement, or through the full meal deal glue kits. If it's not either of those, if what he says is true and they are all monopose push fit, I'm going to be super disappointed. I really don't think that's the right way to go. Like it doesn't solve any of the problems. And yeah, it's a bit disappointing. So that's what I think about Valrak's video. Chief Indian and newspapers were printed on paper. They don't even know what newspapers are. Okay. Uh, Dirt Hermit. I'm from the cusp of the mid late 1900s, right? Oh, Silver Sketchbook product. I'm looking for the new Defiler. Yes. So for those of you that missed it, Games Workshop has been announcing new Chaos stuff every Monday. This is like the second or third in a row. Last week we got the new Mutilators, which is the close combat version of the guys that like turn into ranged weapons. I can never remember their name. But anyways, we've got mutilators now. But today's was the defiler. At first, people were like, "Oh, like what the heck? The defiler is kind of weird. You can see a lot more skin now, and like the different heads don't look that great." And then, like, further digestion, it's not just their heads that are different for the different chaos gods. First of all, there's more than just the four heads. There's at least seven heads that they show in all the different photos, which is awesome. That means you could do, a specific one for the chaos gods, or there was like, a typical like Black Legion looking chaos undivided, and then like a very much Iron Warriors looking one, and then there was another one that was almost kind of like Chaos Titan looking, right? So that was wild. And then the carapace, the great big giant back piece that the head like sits behind the head, it's totally different between the four chaos gods and the undivided ones. So there's like four or five different carapaces. There's also two different sets of shoulder pads, two different sets of like dorsal guns. There were five different main weapons shown on the one arm, two different things of like front armor. And then when they showed the model from the side, like this guy is chunky, he is huge. So he's actually really, really cool. At first, I'll be honest, I didn't really like him, but I think it was the paint scheme they did. They had this really pale pinky skin with the black armor. And then like the photo angle that they had from the front, especially, there's like a skull hanging off of a chain, and it makes the torso look like a cadaver, up on the front of the guy. But that's not it. Like it was just where the skull was. And I think that like I don't know, it the perspective kind of messed with people. But like going back and really looking through all the different build options and all the different photos, like the Iron Warriors one especially looks really, really, really good. And thinking about it, a defiler is supposed to be a unholy amalgamation of an actual demon and a machine, right? So it's supposed to have meat in there, for lack of a better term, right? So and then really looking at like Vastor and like how the organic parts and the robot parts come together, and just like that generalized body horror that they have, especially like some of the mutilators, it actually looks really, really, really good. So I'm getting kind of pumped for some Chaos Space Marines. I might be adding some Chaos Beakies to my collection. We'll see what happens, but I like the way it goes. Chiefy needs to be scrap. I tell you, there's going to be a lot of defiler bits, and they can make some really excellent orc bits. Because again, there's five different main weapons, two different dorsal weapons, all the like carapace armor and stuff. I saw a meme on Discord that was a defiler, and all the skin had been photoshopped green, and then it had the orc head on it, and it was like every kid is an orc kit. And I'm like, yeah, actually, like that's wild. Like you could totally do like a Tuska demon killer as a demon engine. It could be cool as heck. I don't know. I don't know. Crimson Chained, if you are interested in having it made into something you do jewelry work. Oh, dude. That'd be kind of I don't know like what you would do with a titanium triangular plate with like some hooks on it or a titanium rod, but that could be really interesting. Thanks for the offer. Let me think about that. That could be cool. I was just gonna put it on a big chain like Flava Flav style, right? Just like have it swinging. But maybe come up with something better than that. Hey, pretty average gamers. Oh man, 3:10 in the morning over there in the UK. Well, thanks for tuning in. I've tried to vary the times of these to let everybody kind of have a shot at it. Those are here in the US on the East Coast kind of want some earlier ones. You guys, over there in the UK like it better when I go really late because then it's like not quite so dead morning for you. But that's why I always make sure these go up on the YouTube channel right away, so you can always watch them at your convenience. It's just not live, but token time. You should tell the Grouts to use to take us 30 plus hours to download games. I tried explaining original Nintendo and blowing the dust out of the cartridge, and they looked at me like I grew three more heads. Like, yeah, it's funny. Real CJ, did I see the new Defiler? I just talked about it. Hey, and Disson's No Goot 3319 is building that Boomdaka Snazwagon we were just talking about. Real CJ says, "Did you hear GW is shutting down their green stuff production? Sad days. I'm worried it's them abandoning kit bashers." Okay, I did hear that. Um, I'm not concerned. First of all, Games Workshop was not the original green stuff manufacturer anyway, and they know that the hobby supply field is very crowded, and in that crowded field, their own green stuff is kind of like not the pick of the litter. Um, Tamiya has got much better products. Green Stuff World has better things. AK's got like there's just like when it comes to that kind of stuff, you either need to be like that is your focus or not do it at all. And on the one hand, like yeah, they need to have like some basic brushes, things like that to sell in their stores, but you never see Games Workshop green stuff in a Games Workshop store anyway. Like it was kind of one of more of those things where they made some just to like make it easier for stockists and stuff. But man, these days, first of all, most of their stuff is carried by independent stockists, right? Your FLGSs, and almost every one of those FLGSs um, is going to carry multiple product lines, right? Like, I mean, when's the last time I went to a hobby store and they didn't have more than just Citadel paint, right? Like, usually they have everything. You see a giant rack for Army Painter, and you see a giant rack for Vallejo, and you see a giant rack for AK, like Tamiya. I mean, there's just everything out there. So, like, it did make a whole lot of sense. Also, there's like environmental laws in the UK going on that's making that kind of thing a little harder. So like I could see that being part of it too. So yeah, you got like this really low demand, really low profit line item that was just kind of there as a convenience, and now you get all these extra costs involved with like doing environmental things. Especially when they've got so much demand for everything else, like man, we could use this production space to make more plastic, or make more paint, or like make something that actually sells and makes money. That's not that bad. I don't think they're abandoning kit bashers. Like about 2 years ago, I did think that almost every one of their kits was coming out with like no options, no spares, no extras. And yeah, and I thought we were done for. But all of the kits since then, like I was just talking about, not only are they not monopose, but they're modular, and they're modular with each other. Like literally, you can go take a tank busta and grab its head and its arms and stick it on a beast naga, or stick it on a commando, or stick it on a squig hog boy, and it just right on, because it is designed to be modular. And all the beakies are like that. All the beakies are modular. Um, I've been hearing that like a lot of the Horus Heresy stuff is modular as well, like to itself. So like all the Horus Heresy, the different armor marks like work with each other in that way as well. So and they're really, really stepping up their extra bits game these days. I mean, this new Defiler kit we were just talking about is a perfect example of that. It's not just a couple of heads, 7 different heads, 5 different carapaces, 2 different front plates, 2 different shoulder pads, like 5 different main guns. It goes on and on and on and on. And that's just what they've shown us so far. And like usually the kits that are coming out, they are just giving you bukus of extras with it. I mean, that the tank buster kit is like that. The Rekka crew is like that. Like you get the 6 bodies, but you get enough weapons to make all 6 tank buses and all 6 breaker boys. And there was still an extra hammer in there. I was actually able to make 7 tank busters out of mine. Plus like a bunch of different heads, and different pieces and stuff. And it like, okay, I know it's a kill team. Basic troops. Look at the Eldari Guardian kit. Do you guys know that there are 31 heads in the Guardian kit? Not a kill team, plain Jane Eldar Guardians, 10 pointy ear elf boys, 31 heads. You get enough heads to do an entire squad completely unhelmeted, enough heads to do an entire squad in traditional Eldari helms, and an entire set of heads to do the squad like Corsair style. And then there's an extra head on top of that. That was like a half helm something thing for the whatever their version of a sergeant or a knob or a leader is. That is wild, right? And then their multi-part commander kits have been excellent with all the different weapon options, again, which is just really cool because you get yourself some extra bodies, or, find some promo dudes and like kit bash up, you use some extras. Plus, on Warhammer Plus, they've been doing this Scrap Demon show and really pushing that. And then at their hobby events, like you guys saw when I went to Tacoma Open in 2024, they have a hobby challenge now that is part of the grand tournament. Like the whole point is to build a kit bash. So yeah, I don't think there have been any kit bashers at all. Again, GW's own green stuff was not the best green stuff equivalent out there. They didn't sell very much of it. They didn't make very much money off of it, and it's an entire production line taking up valuable time and space and opportunity from their other production lines. Um, I don't know. To me, business side, it makes sense to let that one go and let somebody else be the leader there, and that's okay. Yeah, Calvin, I'm with you. I'm not happy with Chapter Master Dalek saying that they're Monopose boys. If it truly is 20 more Monopose boys, even if they fix the squad, I just that doesn't interest me at all. Which is really sad because I mean, here at this channel, we're the Red Wunz Go Faster. We are mostly about orcs. Us being in the launch box, you guys would think I would be all about buying, a zillion launch boxes, building everything in it, kit bashing everything in it, right? Doing a zillion videos, right? That's what I want to be doing. That's what I need to be doing. That's what I should be doing. But if the models are all these monopose things that aren't very cool, man, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. Real CJ, if they do update the SAG, I really, really hope it's just an update of the old one that had the snotling. So CJ, the snotling being sucked into the vacuum has been in all three shock attack guns. That is part and parcel of the shock attack gun model. That's not going anywhere. You will always have the snotling being vacuumed up. Actually, that was one thing. Going back a little bit to what we were just talking about with the launch box having this like walker thing with a big gun on it. Part of me is wondering if it's like a gigantic shock attack gun that like shoots squigs instead of snotlings or shoots I don't even know what else, but like a giant shock attack gun would be really fun. That would be cool. Um, but who knows? Who knows what they have? Bobo, well, that informed my decision. Thank you, old Big Mac. I will get them out this weekend and build them out. Nice. Sounds good. Shady Sinks, hoping these new custom characters make it new level. I do too, man. Like I am so into these new custom character rules that I'm actually going to get the Maelstrom book. And I don't usually I get the campaign books. I usually get them when the next edition comes out and everybody sells the campaign books for pennies on the dollar because screw giving Games Workshop that kind of money new. But that one is so good, and I'm really looking forward to doing custom characters that I might actually be willing to buy that one new at full price. Because I also kind of want to support that. I want Games Workshop to see the sales from that and go, oh, when we let the players do customization things, we sell more. To me, that's voting with my dollars, right? It's putting my money where my mouth is. I'm always going on about custom things and custom characters. So when they put that out, right, it's time to fish or cut bait. Like, let's go. So yeah, I think I'm definitely getting that book just for that reason alone. I want to support that. I would really, really, really hope it makes to 11. Even if you don't get like as many crazy customizations as you get now, even if it's pared down a little, it would still be cool to just be able to like here is my custom war boss, right? Or like how they were doing your custom Big Mac. That's also a weird boy. Like, yes, all the yes. Like, let us go with it. That's what made Warhammer so cool, especially compared to like, historical tabletops or Star Wars or whatever. Like, in everything else, you are locked into whatever that universe decrees. 40K or Warhammer is the only thing that you can just do whatever you want. Like you want to make your own Space Marine chapter, go for it. You want to make Grot Guard, go for it. Like literally anything. So the rules for the game should reflect the realities of your models as well. And having custom characters goes a long way toward that. Real CJ, Monopose boys probably be like Infernus Marines. It could be a case where there's easy build Monopose set, but more flexible kit individually. See, but that's what I'm afraid of. Like I was just saying a couple of videos ago, in the last Games Workshop annual report, it was their semi-annual report, they were identifying areas where the company could make better profit, right? Like cutting costs, increasing profit. and their number one thing was redundant kits. And it's redundant having two kits named boys, and one of them is monopose and one of them is multipose. Why would they do it again? Like that doesn't make, even for MBAs, that doesn't make a lick of sense. So yeah, I don't know. But again, if it's the full glue kit in the launch box, if they get away from monopose or push fit and it's like, that would be epic. That would be the biggest news, honestly. Oh, Chief Indian, Tau infantry. That's what hasn't changed since 2001. Absolutely, I agree with that. Because yeah, the Pathfinders and the Fire Warriors, they're exactly the same. There's like an upgrade sprue thing for the Pathfinders that was in Kill Team in like 2018. So even that's getting up there in years. But yeah, like the basic dudes have not changed. And you can tell. You can tell when you build them. You can tell when you look at the sprues. And frankly, they're just not that exciting. Like the crew are kind of cool. Like I'd build some crew here and there, but like the points are so low, and I've already got so many armies that are like hordes of low point things. I really don't. I don't want to do it. If I could do crisis suits as a battle line and like not even take any Tau dudes on foot, that's what interests me. So we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, okay. Hoovy Bear is correct. So Tau did get Fire Warriors and Pathfinders updated because yeah, Fire Warriors is on their second iteration of a kit. The first Fire Warriors kit famously came with more legs than torsos at a time where every other Warhammer kit on the planet was limited by their legs. So like if you got a kit that had 10 guys in it, it would be 10 legs. Even if they gave you 13 torsos, 27 heads, whatever, you only got the 10 legs. The Tau infantry kit was the Fire Warrior kit, the original Fire Warrior kit. You got 10 torsos, but you got like 16 legs or something like that. And so people would take Tau legs and glue them to like cultist bodies and Imperial Guard bodies and things like that, and make extra figures kind of for free out of their bits pile. And so yeah, they got rid of that. Now the current Fire Warriors don't do that. And then yeah, the Pathfinders I know did get that upgrade from Kill Team. Joko Breck just recently got into orcs. Love them. Pile of progress is at 2145 points. Let's go. Awesome, man. You're doing better than me. Hoovy Bear says the Devilfish is OG and quality of the frame show the HG. We're not going to talk about quality of frames when it comes to vehicle kits until you start talking about the Eldar Falcon. 1997, boys. That kid is 29 years old. Still looks great. But still, 29 years old, man. Shady Snakes. Walking Good could also be the DACA variant for a new Dread, maybe a new Mega Mecha Dread. See, that's originally what Valrak was saying. He was like, "Oh, it's like a new Mecha Dread," but his latest video is saying it's more about being an artillery piece than a dreadnought, and it might not even have only two legs. It might be more of like a low walking thing that has like a big gun on it. So to me, that says like self-propelled artillery, which would be great. Again, we don't have many big guns at all. I mean, you've got Met guns, which are medium guns, and then the battle wagon can take a heavy gun, and that's it. Like we really don't have anything big. It especially like my God, Imperial Guard could take everything, but also Space Marines have a ton of really big guns and artillery pieces. Chaos Space Marines have a ton of really big guns and artillery pieces. Tau have a ton of really big guns and artillery pieces. Um, Eldar, frankly, have some pretty big things, like in between star cannons and stuff like that. Yeah, like there's a lot out there for everybody but us. We are sorely lacking on artillery or big guns. So Chief Indian says, "Bye, Grot." Yeah, sorry, I'm getting caught up to you. You guys are going crazy here. Eliminate. Okay, Real CJ says eliminators with the heavy bolters are yes, literally heavy intercessors, unless they mean the big backpack fed heavy bolters like Devastators have, right? But that also doesn't make sense because you have oh, what the heck are they? They're in the Gravis armor, but they have the jump packs, but they've got the two heavy bolter things that are on their like almost power fist looking things with the ammo that goes to their backpacks. So like they even have that version of it. So I just eliminators of heavy bolters makes 0 sense. Joko Brecht says everything in the launch box is monopose. That is the rumor, but I'm saying we don't know. And no, launch boxes are not always push fit. They're not. This box right here, third edition, 1998. Every single piece, every single piece was multi-pose. This tactical squad is the tactical squad you bought in the box. It had 10 separate legs, 10 separate torsos that were 2 pieces each, plus the sergeant had like an alternate one too. So there were like 11 torso fronts, 10 separate backpacks. All the shoulder pads were separate, so it was 20 shoulder pads plus all the heads, and then there was an extra 1 or 2 for the sergeant. Plus, you had a flamer and a rocket launcher that you could put on there, or 10 bolters. That was all multi-pose. Same thing with the Dark Eldar warriors. There were 20 of those dudes in there. So there was 20 different legs, 20 different torsos, more than 20 different heads because they had a bunch that were you could do them all helmeted, and they had a bunch of unhelmeted ones too. And then those were even cool. You had the head and then the spikes that went on the back or the hair was a separate piece. So you had like a bunch of hair pieces and a bunch of spike pieces, a bunch of top knots and things like that. Those are all separate pieces. And then there was also there were some heavy splinter rifles, and then some close combat weapons for the Cerebite, which was like the veteran sergeant leader, and then also the complete multi-pose land speeder kit. The little doors, those opened and closed if you glued it together right, and you could see inside. It was like all detailed inside, and then yeah, it had like a heavy bolter. It might have only had the heavy bolter because I think the other weapons came when they made the tornado upgrade variant, because the other weapons were all metal and this was all plastic. Because yeah, later on you could put a multi-melt on there or something like that. But that one definitely came with a plastic heavy bolter. And the Marines that were in there were multi-part Marines. In fact, you could take the helmets that were in the speeder had the little antenna on them. You could take those helmets and swap them out with the ones in the tactical squad. Same thing with like the shoulder pads. The tactical squad would have shoulder pads that had like the little extra piece on it here that would have like some honors or something on it. You could like put one of those on the speeder pilot instead, and even like these were multi-part, multi-pose trees. The palm trees, the little trunks, you could actually glue them together in different angles. And same thing with like the leaves on them. Like you could pick where the leaves went on the trees, so you could build the trees a zillion different ways. The runes, I mean, they were multi-piece, but yeah, the runes only go together one way. But I mean, literally everything in this box was the full meal deal. Nothing in this was monopose or push fit. It is absolutely done before. So it is not unprecedented for a launch box, especially a major one, to be multi-pose glued together. If they do this for 11th, I'm going to lose my mind with joy. I will be the happiest Big Mac. We will be kit bashing like crazy. Tug Bobo, you're wondering if the Mecha Dread is the answer to the Ballista Snot. Nah, because look, we have Def Dread, and the Def Dread is pretty good, and the Def Dread can take 4 ranged weapons if he wants. And the thing is, the Def Dread paired with a little mech actually shoots halfway decent for an orc. We don't, and we don't have orcs do not have one-to-one answers for Space Marines. That is not how Army is built at all. Like we don't have anything that crosses over with almost all of the Space Marine stuff. Like it's ridiculous the amount of non-crossover there is. So them worrying about like a very specific form of dreadnought makes no sense at all. Frank Yingling, every time the orcs are in the starter box, their infantry is monopose. Well, they've only been in the starter box twice, and it was 2nd edition and 5th edition. But yeah, even just the fact that like they're gonna have a big gun machine walker thing, vehicles in starter sets, they don't usually have them. When they do have them, they're usually glue. Um, And the monopose ones even aren't that monopose. Even like the box dread that was in 5th edition, that one the arms moved just like the ballista dread. So they do try to, like, especially on the vehicles, make it where it's a kit that later on you could use it. So yeah, I don't know. Captain Crash Ride, yo, you're late. How far in are we? Well, at this point, we are 59 minutes in. But you could go back to the start if you want, or again, when this stream ends, it will automatically get put up on YouTube. It might take a few minutes, but they're usually pretty darn quick about it, and it's just right there. So yeah, you can go back and rewatch anytime. No, where's the? Oh, I lost it. Okay, let's get back up on here. Yeah, Swift 182, you did actually make it to a live stream. Thank you so much for that donation. Much appreciated. Again, for those of you that don't know, when we live stream things, the more likes you get, the more engagement you get, and especially the more donations you get, the more YouTube pushes you out to new people and helps your channel grow. So we get more new subscribers from the live streams than anything else, especially the ones where you guys do all sorts of stuff like that. So it is extra super duper appreciated. All right, where are we at here? Chief Indian, third edition starter boxes are intro to 40K. Still have box. Yep, this is my legit original one. You can see here it is from the very first couple of boxes where it came with the free metal Space Marine Captain with the power axe. And yeah, I mean she has seen some better days. But yeah, this is my legit very first box of Warhammer 40K I bought with my own money, and I still have it, and I will have it forever. That goes on a place of honor. I should probably put it up on the big shelf, honestly, with the other boxes. Like that's where that one deserves to be. About half an hour, so good for taking a few minutes. Well, I am really behind in the chat. I need to get caught up. Okay, let's see. Procedure. To be fair, kill team kits are also 40K kits. Well, yes. Um, Yeah, but the Kill Team starter set that just released last year is actually the Space Marine Heroes kits are what's in there. Um, and they're not push fit, they're just mono pose. Um, I think they do have kind of some push fitty style connections, but if you read the instructions, you actually do have to glue them. They are not designed to actually stay together like a full push fit mini. I know this because the Grot and I, Beskrat has gotten a bunch of the heroes and we have built them together. Yeah, there's like in the instructions, it's like, no, you need to glue this. But yeah, I mean, that's also like that was a kit designed for retail newbie entrance, and it comes with the cardboard or the MDF terrain, which is actually really cool. Um, but yeah, Kelvin Ryder thinking on keeping the bike and walker, build the rest, paint them, and sell them. Oh, hey, and you got paid for the commission you did. Nicely done. Nicely done. You share on Discord with the D, but share it anyway. We've got non-GW sections on the Discord. Come on, man. There's a whole off topic. There's a yeah, throw it up there. We don't have to. The only reason I stick to GW on the channel is YouTube has gotten very compartmentalized with what your content is. And I run into this a lot on my other channel. For those of you that don't know, this is actually my second YouTube channel. My first one is called Plays with Cars, and it's all car stuff because I race cars, but I also like build model cars and things like that. And so where I live in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, we have seasons, and there's a racing season where you get to go drive the cars, and there's very much an off season where it is raining or snowing the whole time and there are literally zero car events. And so in the off season, we tend to like play with slot cars and build model cars and talk about Hot Wheels and things. Those are two very very different things, and every time a season change comes, I fall off the face of the earth on the algorithm. I lose all of my viewership on the real cars when I talk about the little ones. And then as soon as I get the little ones all built up and people are watching for the regular little one content, the season starts, we go into a race, and it just falls on its face again. Like it really needs to be two different channels. So on this channel, every time I've talked about not Warhammer, like we've reviewed the terrain that builds like Legos. You can take it apart, put it back together again, which is actually like really cool. Dead in the water. That video got nothing. They did not promote that at all. Anytime I've done 3D printing, because this channel doesn't really cover 3D printing. We only talk about like Games Workshop models. Those videos do terrible. Um, and like I paint D&D minis. I paint minis that are not Warhammer. I got a Cthulhu in there that's really awesome that I love. That yeah, I can't talk about it on the channel because it just bombs the channel every time. But our Discord doesn't care. So yeah, post whatever you want on the Discord. We talk about 3D printed stuff there all the time. We talk about D&D minis would be cool. Like, you guys that do bolt action, things like that, by all means, share them. Share all the minis. They're all cool. It's just here on the channel, I can't really, do that. Hey, Ognog Dog. Yep, doing well. Thank you much. Real Jazeer. So I have a complete orc half of Assault on Blackreach. Do you just base the boys on 32 millimeters? Yes. So Assault on Blackreach, which is the 5th edition starter set, is still valid to this day. All of the bases need to change, though. First of all the boys are already on 32s. So they need to be on 32s no matter what. Same thing with knobs. Right now, knobs are on 32s. In that box, they're on 25s. However, I have seen some evidence, heard some rumors, and made my own assumptions. I think knobs are going to 40 millimeter in 11th edition. So I wouldn't even put the knobs on 32s. I would either wait or put them on 40s. So that's going to happen. And then War Boss, which again is already on a bigger size than what's in that box, is definitely going to a bigger size. Those of you that don't understand the definitely part of that, when I usually say like maybe or mostly, that guy right there, Uftak Blackhawk, right? He came with a generic Warboss data sheet. And on that data sheet, it has the bigger base size because that's the base size that's coming. So yeah, Warboss is going to change. Knobs are probably changing. I am personally changing my own orc army where I don't even care what the official bases are. All of my grots are on 25s. All of my boys are on 32. All of my knobs and knob level characters are on 40s, and Warboss and above are on 50s. And it looks killer. And I'm talking about even like the knob in my boy squad. Like now I have a 20-man boy squad with shooters, and the knob is on a 40, and it looks choice. So choice. So yeah, all of the base sizes in Assault and Blackreach will change when it comes to the infantry. And then the Def Coptas, they're on the oval base now, the same oval that the War Bikers are on. That's what Def Copters are on now. So you want to get your hands on some oval bases. So what I would do is with your orc half of Assault and Blackreach, I would build and paint the boys and the knobs and the War Boss and everything. I just don't glue them on any bases yet, and wait for 11th edition to come out and the new base sizes to all be announced. You can put the boys on 32s. I wouldn't do the knob, but all the regular boys can go on 32s. You'll be just fine. You're probably fine putting the Def Coptas on ovals too, because the new Def Coptas are like pretty darn new, and I don't see them changing, and they're integrated with their base, which means it really isn't going to change. So yeah, I'd put those on the ovals. Joko, I know that's what they usually did is Leviathan and Indomitus and what was the one in between? Or sorry, the one in before that, Dark Imperium. They were all monopose, and then full meal deal kits came out later, mostly. But no, that's what I'm saying. Either they're lying to Valrak for the leak, or we're gonna get full glue. If it's full glue, that launch box is 11 out of 10, no notes, but only if it's full glue. Squig napped. Yes, the squig got squig napped. Obliterators, yeah. Next week, Perturaba. No, Perturaba's not coming. It's gonna be oh god, what was he saying the other things were? There were like 2 other chaos kits that were getting redone, but we're not thinking Primarch this edition. Or if so, it was like Primarch for Horus Heresy only. I don't know. But no, Adepticon is supposed to be the 11th edition launch. So Games Workshop normally only does an hour at Adepticon. They booked 2 hours. The last time they booked 2 hours was literally Leviathan. Like we are definitely getting 11th announced at Adepticon. I will live stream that. Yes, Captain Crasher, new defilers. You need to go to the warhammercommunity.com or right now look at it, dude. They are sick. They are so cool. Yo, Calvin Ryder may be one of the oldest mechs born in 1958. I salute you, good sir. That is awesome. Yeah, you're almost from the early 1900s, man. Don't let the grouts get to you. Saw a pic of that defiler, but it was a Gaz defiler. Oh, that's even better. Gaz the demon. Yeah, Durham, I'm with you. Like looting that thing, that looks like a cool kit. Yeah, real CJ. Obliterators were the chaos unit I was looking for earlier. I think they're also one of the new kits that are going to be shown possibly next Monday. Um, to be opposite of the mutilators. So yeah, you'll have obliterators will be new, mutilators will be new, the defiler is new, and then what's it? The little arachnid looking one. Basically, it's all the stuff that came in that really weird chaos box that never got redone. That had the defiler and the obliterators and the little spider walker guy. God, I can't remember what it was called. But yeah, it was the other demon engine thing. That's going to be the other kit that they're going to show too. Hey, Lost Marbles, glad you're able to catch it live. Ambidextrous, thanks for streaming. Content's really cool, positive, and appreciated. Absolutely, you are welcome. And yes, thank you for the good luck on the surgery. Again, that is tomorrow. Like this time tomorrow, I'm going to be zonked out on the couch, half out of my gourd from having anesthesia going. It's only thinking about it, but we'll get there. We'll get through there. Give me a thumbs up on the video if you want my arm surgery to go well. I'd appreciate that. Let's see. Lost Marbles wants to know: do knob heads work good for orc grins? Yeah, so if you want to take the Ogrins box set and put orc heads on it, totally makes some like really cool alternate sculpt knobs. Also, it's Ogrins working for orcs has been a thing since Rogue Trader. They were called Diganobs. Basically, remember Ogrins are kind of dumb. But yeah, there was lots of times in the lore where Ogrins somehow ended up on the orc side of the lines, and just kind of fought like orcs, and orcs were like, "Hey, these guys are all right," and they just kind of like end up hanging out with each other. And yeah, so that's how you get Diganobs. So yeah, or like you could just run Ogrins straight up in your army. Use them as regular knobs, whatever, call them Diganobs, and it totally is in the lore. But also, yeah, if you just want to put knob heads on, they do make some sweet alternate sculpt orcs. The big thing is you want to on an ogre, and the head is on top of the shoulders like a human, and on an orc the shoulders are really high, right? They're like up here. You got like so you want to like really chop the neck and get the head down in there. You want the chest kind of like or the chin kind of like here on the chest for it to really look like an orc. The top of the orc's head should be like where my nose is. So yeah, you really want the shoulders nice and high. Defiler was always supposed to be like some Doom or Painkiller monster. Lots of flesh bits. Yeah. Yeah. And dude, I do. I like the new way it looks. Crimson Champ, things could be done. You know where to find me if you want to talk more. Absolutely. Hey, Tugbobo, thanks for putting the Gaz Defiler into the Discord. So yeah, if you want to see Gaz Defiler, go to the Discord. Tugbobo's got us on it. Blasto Turtle, didn't know you're having surgery, but best of luck. Yes, thank you. It is surgery number 3. If you missed it, I talked all about it at the very beginning of the stream. You can like go back and watch it when the stream ends up on there. Blissful Badger raised his hand. For some reason, I can't get non-GW paints at the nearest 2 stores. Really? Dude, usually I go to a store and they have everything but GW paints. They could have wall-to-wall Warhammer and like 3 pots of GW paint on an empty rack because they refuse to reorder any, and then like the full meal deal of everything else. That is wild that your 2 nearest stores don't carry anything. Like, I'm so bad. I legit, you guys on the car channel have seen this. I own my own Tamiya paint rack, like from a hobby store. Like the whole display is in my garage full of Tamiya paints. Like I could just roll up the garage door and open my own hobby shop and have a full Tamiya display. Like that's how bad I am about getting paints that aren't GW. But yeah, that's I couldn't even imagine. That's wild. All right, once again, thanks again to Swift 182 for the donation. Really appreciate that. And hey, I saw some thumbs up come in. Thanks for that, guys. Cool 3 awesome 98. If there are going to be new boys and they're monopose, at least they should have some switchable options. I'm hoping, man, but man, if they are truly monopose, I'm not doing good, huh? Real CJ, you can't but notice those giant paint racks, huh? Hey man, I got my own giant rack. But the launch box is monopose due to push fit. It's 10 chop and 10 shoot. Yeah, if they do monopose, well, actually, I could see it going either way. Either being 10 choppas and 10 shooters so that you get them both, or as I was kind of predicting a couple of months ago, Shooter Boys and Slugga Boys are going to be their own two data sheets again. Traditionally, they always were. They were two completely separate units for the longest time. I don't think it was until ninth or possibly 10th edition that they got combined all into one boys data sheet. It used to be Shooter Boys and Slugga Boys. We're going back to Shooter Boys and Slugga Boys for sure. Again, the uh not Dawn of War 4, the Total War 40K. No, it was Dawn of War. Dawn of War totally confirmed that for us that Slugga Boys and Shooter Boys are two different units in that game. So that's for sure. So I can kind of maybe see them doing like Shooter Boys as monopose in the launch box, and then the multi-pose kit that we get is going to be literally Slugga Boys instead of Shooter Boys, because then it's not two kits just called boys, right? So I can see that happening, but we'll see. Captain Crusade, real talk, our orcs 100% confirmed for the 11th starter box. If by 100% confirmed you mean there's a Warhammer community article that says, hey, we're launching Warhammer 40K 11th edition in summer of 2026 and it's orcs, no. Everything but that, though, yes. Basically, again, in their annual reports, public companies like Games Workshop that sell stocks, they have to do these annual reports every year. Then they do a semi annual report every 6 months where they talk about their actual business model. And in their actual business model, they have the big four. So Warhammer 40K, Warhammer the Old World, Age of Sigmar, and Horus Heresy. And every single year, one of those is getting relaunched with a new edition. And that is going to be their cycle in perpetuity for the next however many years. The oldest of those four right now is Warhammer 40K. And 10th edition was launched 3 years ago in the summer of 2023. So we are absolutely positively due for a new launch box for Warhammer 40K. It is absolutely coming. It is absolutely happening. They've said that they anticipate their sales over the summer term to be roughly on par with what they did with Space Marine 2, but come from the mini side. The only way in Gork and Morka that they're going to do that is if it's a new edition of 40K. That's just the only thing that sells that much. Okay, so that's how we know it's 40K coming. There's also the whole at Adepticon, they've booked 2 hours for their live stream. The last time they did that was literally to launch 10th edition with Leviathan in 2023. Otherwise, they do an hour. So, I mean, just all the things line up. And then as far as being Space Marines versus Orcs, obviously it's Space Marines. It's never not been Space Marines. But the Orc side is they never use the last codex of the previous edition as the first one in the new one. And Dark Eldar were the last of the last edition. So we're not getting Dark Eldar. We just had Tyranids, so it won't be Tyranids. Necrons was before that, so it's not going to be Necrons. And then before that was Death Guard. So it's not going to be Death Guard. And people are like, oh, well, Chaos Undivided or other Chaos. 6th and 7th were both Chaos. So you had 3 editions in a row with Chaos Space Marines as the foil. The other thing is again, in the annual reports, they've talked about some of the things that they've run into with certain sets is retail confusion. So these are people walking into a Warhammer store that know that they need to buy a Warhammer kit for little Johnny or little, little Terry or whatever, but they don't know anything about it. And when they look at the box, if the two sides look too similar, they get confused. They don't buy the box. That's why the Horus Heresy boxes, even though they are designed to be two separate armies, the photo on the box is just one giant army because that doesn't confuse people. They look up, they go, oh, like, okay, I'm going to buy this and it's going to expand their army because they don't understand loyalist versus traitor Marines. So they're definitely going to shy away from like Leagues of Votan or Chaos Space Marines or anything that is going to look too similar to a Space Marine. I mean, it really Orcs is kind of it. And then you just look at Dawn of War 4 is coming out this year. It's Space Marines versus Orcs. Warhammer Total War Warhammer 40K also got announced, and it is featuring Space Marines versus Orcs as the two main things. Like it is only so obvious that everything is orcs. Of course, it's orcs. And then there's like all the rumor guys like Valrak, and then there's this guy on Discord that normally does AOS stuff, but he's had a couple of 40k rumors that have been on the point. He's also said that they're orcs. So yeah, there's multiple leaks saying it's going to be orcs. It's going to be orcs. Let's see. Ambidextrous wants aggression forward army, freebooters, and Red Corsairs combo army. Those both sound great. Totally on board. Dirt Hermit wasn't in the first sag. First sag made portals. Oh, you're right. First sag you got individual snotlings, and you actually like so there'd be like 5 snotlings behind the big mech. He'd shoot the gun. You'd actually have to take one away and like move it on the board. And when he ran out, he was out. So yes, that is true. But still, the model was still a vacuum cleaner. But yeah, the second one, which originally came out in metal and then was released in Failcast resin, and the current one in plastic, both have them sucking up the snotling into the vacuum tube. So I don't see that changing. Giant rattling cannon from Skaven Ted box. I don't know what to talk about. Knobheads work to kit bash and orc grin. Yeah, we talked about that. Swift monopose sucks. I'm always happy to add more boys to my horde, but each one is going to be different. I don't want a single identical model in the same pose. Same. I do not have any 2 orcs the same in my army, and I'm not going to start now. Kelvin Rider, hoping the walker is like a spider with a Lehman Russ tank turret. So much kit bashing. That would be cool. That's what I'm hoping too. I'm hoping that it is a self-propelled 4-legged or more artillery piece. That would be dope. Yeah, it's Silver Sketchful Products. I am with you, man. We like if you guys like custom characters, if you want to support that, that is the one book you should actually buy new from Games Workshop. Put your money where your mouth is and show them that you appreciate when they let you, the player, have control of your army. Like if they see the sales of that book go through the roof, they will definitely keep going more down that rabbit hole. Real CJ, regarding the snotling with the sag, I was not aware it was on the current one with Super Mech boots. Yeah, it sure is. I got him right here. Here he is. Try to get the light here. There we go. There he is. See the little snotling? Right there. Right there. Getting sucked in. This is the current Big Mac with Shakateka. And if you order it brand new from Games Workshop, not that they ever have it in stock, but if you actually find one at Games Workshop or a stock or whatever, this is the kit. I bought it brand new myself just a couple months ago and built it. That is the snotling. He is getting sucked in right there. Delicious. All right. Real CJ got all the guns and arms drilled out on the XV26 team. Now comes the hard part. Super gluing magnets into the holes. Oof. Ugh. Sorry, man. Yes, Stone Sure. We were just talking about the modular character options in the book. Chief Indian has a Grav Falcon halfway painted with the free-handed roses and thorns. Right? It's such a good scheme, man. I don't know why they went away from the BLTON scheme. It'd be nice to see that come back. Yeah, movie pair. CJ, you're magnetizing the kill team. You're a mad lad. Yes, you are. I think I've almost caught up. No. Point is that only the starter set will have push fit. When you buy boys outside of it, those kits will be more advanced. Savmaster, I bet in 3rd edition, though, multi-pose kits were new technology for GW. They were not, actually. They were not. GW definitely had multi-pose plastic kits prior to the box coming out. This launched a new style of them that had way more options and were more modular with each other. But this was far from the first time they ever did a multi-part, multi-option build kit. Real CJ, no, the Falcon is not the one that just got replaced with the multi-part Viper. Viper is smaller. Viper is a little medium, like attack bike size grab bike. Falcon is the great big one that is also the Wave Serpent. It is the troop carrier. We used to have one laying around here that we just the hull that the Grots would use for testing paints on. But yeah, it's big. It's dinner plate size. The Viper is much smaller, but the Viper was also hella old, and they finally replaced the Viper. So I don't know, man. Falcon could be due to get redone, and it could be. I love the Falcon kit, but man, a new one would be sick. Swift 182, haven't built your dread yet. Any advice on loadout? How hard are they to magnetize? I always build my def dreads with three close combat weapons and a scorcher, and I'll tell you why. Def dreads are orcs; they are not grots, which means they are weapon skill 5, which or yeah, sorry, ballistic skill 5, which means you are only hitting on 5s or better. Think about all the things out there on the board that make it harder to hit, and so they screw you back to a 6 up. The best you could hope for is a regular size mech to be next to you to give you the +1 to hit, which brings you to a 4 up, which isn't that great. Um, so yeah, it's just a lot of points that you waste on the strength and movement of the Def Dread to give it ranged weapons that aren't that great. Scorcher, however, always hits, so that's great. Plus, it makes people think twice before they assault you because you can Overwatch, right? And then yeah, just three claws looks really, really, really cool. There is something to be said about doing like 4 custom Mega Blasters and then putting that in the Walker detachment thing because there's a way to get like more to hit or rerolls to hit or something like that. But that's a very, very, very edge case. You can magnetize them. They're like, as far as magnetization goes, they're not terribly difficult because the arms are a literal ball and socket fit. So you could totally put a magnet in there and a magnet on the ball and like put them on and even be able to like kind of pose with the arms and stuff, which is kind of fun. But honestly, Def Treads are so cheap secondhand. They were in the Start Collecting box. They were in the first Combat Patrol box. They're in the current Combat Patrol magazine issues that are out right now. And like it's been the same kit forever. And everybody's kind of has enough of them that yeah, they're super cheap on the secondhand market, even unbuilt. So it's kind of more of a like just buy another one. But yeah, if you want to magnetize it, you can. But I do 3 close combats and a Scorcha every time. Dark Imperium is modern era there, Stone Shooter 1227. Dark Imperium started modern era. Midhammer era was the 3rd edition through 7th edition. Calvin, I wonder if you could take the tracks off the new War Trek bike. It would be a nice Chinook. Hey man, while we're talking about Chinooks, sneak peek. Look at that. That is the Every Kit is an Orc Kit Chinook Warcopter, made out of obviously a Drukari Raider that I've been working on for the latest video, hopefully out tomorrow before I go in for surgery. If you want to see everything on getting this play ready. In fact, I was hoping to work on it tonight in the stream, but then you guys started asking questions. I need to figure out how to get a software that does this that can read the questions to me so I can answer the questions while painting instead of having to read them. That would be the next upgrade. Real CJ's got the Devastator Squad Heavy Bolter and the Aggressor Bolt Storm Gauntlets. Okay, yeah, not the same data sheets, but I meant more like model wise. Like the Aggressor model is a Gravis armor with the bolters with the ammo things, and then you've got heavy intercessors that have like a bigger bolter rifle that are Gravis armor. I don't see the need or the desire or the demand for another Gravis armor bolter equipped unit. Like that just it's like having your 17th lieutenant or your 4th ancient. Like it just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Yeah, Blissful Badger. You know what I'm talking about. Assortment of model companies on a single channel is rough. No, it's not that YouTube doesn't like you, man. It just that's just the way the algorithm goes. It really pigeonholes channels, and you have to stick to the one thing, or you're toast. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna try to speed run through these because we only got like a couple minutes here left in the live stream, and then I gotta go, which is why I started early tonight. So let me see. Real CJ. Real CJ, I know the kill team says no glue required in the instructions. If you go buy the individual Space Marine heroes that are in that kit, the individual heroes instructions, not all of them, but some of them do say that you do need to use glue, even though it is a push fit style model. They are not designed to actually stay together once they are put in. Some of that could just be because they were designed for the Japanese market and they are a little bit like more on doing things the right way than we are. But like legit, dude, we've built, I don't know, 4 or 5 of the Death Guard guys and probably 6 or 7 of the Space Marine dudes, and more than one of each of them, the individual instructions have said use some glue. All right, Crimson Chain. Yeah, off to get some sleep. That I gotta go do that too. I gotta be prepared for tomorrow. And again, you can always rewatch the stream tomorrow. Choppa Sluggers and Shooters. Next official chart for vehicle size and kit bashing will list the bases that way as well. Oh, sweet. Gretchen Squiggs on 25s, Boys on 32, Knobs, Odd Boys 40, next to War Bosses on 50. I'm telling you, that is the coolest thing you could do with your Orc army right now. Tug Bobo, 100% be on here for Adepticon watch stream response. Yeah, we are doing Adepticon either live or a live response stream. We'll see. Demon Prince helmet pack is coming, and you get a free defiler too. Nice one, McFadden. Venom Crawler. That's it, Bernardinelli. Venom Crawler. We're probably going to get a new Venom Crawler model too. So it's Obliterators and Venom Crawler the next 2 Mondays. That's the rumor. Which, given the fact that the rumors were 100% on point for Mutilators and Defiler, I would take it as fact at this point. Choppa Sluggers and Shooters wants that Power Claw upgrade. I know. Power Claw would be cool. Yes, Chief Indian, all roads lead to Orcs for the 11th edition box, for sure. And yet, Dirt Hermit is completely correct. Road Trader plastic boxes were all multi-part. That is correct. Calvin says, Shork is awesome. Headed out. Grout will be up at 4. Good to see you. We are signing off too. The battery is dead on the camera. I'm dead. It's time to wrap this up, but it was a lot of fun to talk for an hour and a half with you guys. Shady Snakes got 18 ounces off of eBay for super cheap because they were mislabeled boys. Nice. Gotta love that. Hey, McFadden, thank you, my friend. Yes, 4 Scorch of Dread could be funny. Actually, what I would do, as funny as 4 Scorch of Dread is, it's only funny. 3 Scorches and 1 Power Claw is funny and good. Like, I could legit see that being a thing. So, yeah. Anyways. All right, guys, that's going to do it for now. The camera is yelling at me, so we're going to call this one. Thank you so much for hanging out. Chopper Shooters and Sluggers, that book is the new Maelstrom book. The Sunday article, yesterday's article on Warhammer Community announced it. You'll be able to pre-order it on Saturday. Go to the Warhammer Community website and read all about it. All right, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. We'll catch you in the next one. And the next time you see me, I will have 2 fully functioning claws with no titanium, hopefully. So until then, walk on!